Oh God, I guess I'm on a roll today, aren't I? Well, today we're going to do again another series, and we are doing another compatibility of signs, and we're focusing today on Aquarius and Sagittarius, mutable fire and fixed air. Okay. So we are going to discuss this combination. Of course, we are dealing with a a combination of fire and air. So we have a compatibility or a simpatico between the elements. Okay, and then we have the modalities where we have a mutable and a mutable fire and fixed air. Okay, so this works. We just discussed that. So because we have a compatibility of both elemental emphasis and the modality emphasis, then by all intents and purposes, this will fall on the compatibility of signs. Okay, we're dealing with the adventurer, which is Sagittarius, and the loner, the maverick, the renegade, which is Aquarius. So both of these signs are on a quest. They're about something. We may not know what it is. Do you? I don't know. And I'm the astrologer. But because every Aquarius and every Sagittarius is different. Remember there's 14 major types, 12 subtypes, and 24 major subtypes according to the decans. So there's a lot of combinations, and no more do you see this variation of the expression of this combination of variety and versatility than you do in two signs, Gemini and Sagittarius. Okay? Aquarius being the fixed air is actually far more predictable and far more reliable in its behavioral approach to life, to anything. You know, the wild card with this combination would be Sagittarius, but then, Aquarius can turn you out, flip you and turn you out. Because again, Aquarius also has an eccentricity that is literally out of this world. It has no psychological explanation. And if you don't appreciate the unique style and the uniqueness of Aquarius, you're not gonna really value this person and what this person stands for. Because what this person values and what this person stands for, both man or woman, is something that, as a Sagittarian, or even as any other sign of the zodiac, whether you're a man or a woman, may not have experienced before with this Sagittarius, with this Aquarian person. The Aquarian is bringing to your vibration, just by their mere presence in your life, a certain level of education and experience that is literally out of this world. Even the Aquarian person may not be him or herself aware that they are imparting this kind of great universal cosmic truth that is so subtle and so insidious, but yet so real and so old and ancient and familiar all at the same time, that it's almost difficult to ignore it. There has to be a sort of a kingship. There has to be a sort of relatedness that both the Aquarian and the Sagittarian can grasp and can hold on to. But before we go into that, let us describe the nature dynamic. You know, where do we find this combination of fixed air and mutable fire? Fixed air. Well, when I think of fixed air, I think automatically of mountaintops. You have a particular dimension of air and gradient or density of air there. You know, especially the O2 content in the Andes Mountains, let's say, for an example, is not 20% oxygen in the one atmosphere that we experience here above sea level. So the air or the oxygenation in the Andes Mountains or in Mount Everest or any other such mountains is of lower density than it is in on the sea level. So that's why mountaineers and people that have climbed Mount Everest had to develop special exercises and go through special training so like that they can be accustomed to breathing the less percentage of oxygenation that they would normally breathe at, if they are at normal sea level. So Aquarius fixed air represents that part of the sky that is um, can kill you if you're not careful. You can die of exposure, you know? And the cold air in the mountain, you know, when you go into frostbite or you start to freeze, it burns. You know, frostbite burns. It feels like you're on fire, but it's only ice. And that can be expressive of Sagittarius, mutable fire. Just because it's not flames of fire doesn't mean that you're not going to feel the same effect of fire. You can still burn even though you're under ice. Because ice, when it gets to a certain temperature, it burns just like fire does. So we can ascribe the analogy of Aquarius and Sagittarius as a mountaintop where the hoary frost of the mountain heavens is enough to burn through your flesh. Because the cold can do that. You don't gotta be fired the fiery flame. But then again, this combination also holds well because if we're dealing with a volcano, a mountaintop could be a volcano. And what comes out of a volcano? Fire, magma, the mutable fire of Sagittarius. So we see that this combination actually works in tandem with this analogy of the mountaintop or the volcano. So, having found that now in nature, how do we ascribe that to the personality and ego of two people that bear this combination? Well, that's going to be now the basis of what we're going to talk about is how this combination is so analogous to human behavior, human personality. And does this behavior, because it seems so compatible and so simpatico, would this combination work? Would this combination hold to the realistic expectations that both people, both, you know, Aquarius and Sagittarians, whether man or woman, will fulfill within themselves and within each other and also the relationship as a whole? Remember, Aquarius and Sagittarians are both out on a quest, but the quest don't gotta be together hand in hand, you know, like walking down the yellow brick road. It could be going this direction. The interest of Sagittarius can be going this way, and the interest of Aquarius can be going that way. So it does, you know, this is the type of combination where you can grow apart. You can easily grow apart from each other if there isn't enough interest intellectually or interpersonally that will bind you together. Now, the thing about this combination is that Sagittarius, being a fire sign, can be very self-absorbed, very concerned with its needs. It needs to always be somewhere else. Sagittarius has a restless nature. So does Aquarius. But they go in different directions. The restlessness of Sagittarius will take Sagittarians away from his environment and into another environment where he feels that which is missing in the current environment he'll find in where the grass is greener. And that can take him to that direction. Aquarius will also go through a similar phase, but the quest of Sagittarius doesn't necessarily have to make her or him move anywhere. See, they can do this mentally. They can leave mentally, escape mentally. The escapism of Pisces, the 12th sign of the zodiac, reaches its culmination in Pisces. But the impulse of that kind of escapism belongs and begins in Aquarius, and it culminates in Pisces, and then it dissipates once the world begins again in Aries. So understand that the surrender that the Aquarian is looking for is for its own self knowledge and its own self evolution. It will not do this for anybody else. And this is what makes the Aquarian woman, especially talking about the Aquarian woman, seem so impersonal. And, she's not impersonal at all. She comes across that way, you know. But that doesn't mean that that's the basis of what she's thinking at the moment. I know it's funny because I received a lot of I guess a lot of slack from YouTube and the internet of Aquarian women that probably felt like the Sagittarian women that I didn't do a really good justice of a job really bringing the three-dimensionality of the totality of the Aquarian woman or the Sagittarian woman. It's difficult. It's difficult to grasp that in 25 minutes. You know, part 102. And the Sagittarian woman, along with the Aquarian women, are such cosmic women, are such women that are ahead of their time in thought and philosophy and even in emotion, that it's difficult to put them in a particular definition that will satisfy them. Because with this combination, there's such difference. There is not one Sagittarian woman that I've met that's the same. They're all different, all of them. And the same with the Aquarian woman, especially in her philosophy, even though her approach may seem universal and may seem so similar to any other woman that you would think that all Aquarian women are the same. No, they're not. Each individual Aquarian woman is a universe into herself, unto herself. And that's not something that she's going to reveal to you openly. And even if she does, it won't be easy either. No, she has to evolve to that point to be able to share that with you and feel that you are worthy of knowing that dimension of her. I mean, that's really where that's at. And if you fit the bill, then she can open those doors to you. But she's going to remain extremely enigmatic. And you will have to be the one to have to employ and put the energy forth in trying to figure her out. But let me tell you, figuring out this woman will be worth the quest. because she is someone that once you have her on your side, there's no better woman that can champion for you on all fronts of life like the Aquarian woman. Yeah, I gotta tell you that. I gotta tell you that. Yep. So, what do the sun sign elements tell us about the Aquarius and the Sagittarian compatibility? Okay, if we're going to base it just on the sun sign, with this combination, you can base it just on the signs. You got to base it on, again, the factors of maturity, the factors of education, exposure and exposition. All those things play a role. This is again one of those combinations where there has to be a certain level of maturity and a certain level of resolve. If you are involved with this kind of person, the Aquarian woman. Let's stop there with the Aquarian woman and the Sagittarian man. Let me tell you, the Sagittarian, the Aquarian woman, to her opposite polarity, understand is Leo. So there's an internal pride that this woman has that won't allow her to completely relax, not even in her own skin. So let alone will she be completely open and comfortable and vulnerable, God forbid, with you as a man, she being a woman. Okay, she feels awkward already. It's not something that she's going to openly admit to you, but she feels like she's a tomboy in the inside, awkward and kind of like uncoordinated, quirky and quacky and goofy even. And and we people may not actually feel that way about her. People might not actually opinionate that about her, but she can genuinely feel that way about herself, and she will kind of like buy into it and accept that as part of her personality and as part of her identity. You know, uh, her sense of awkwardness may have nothing to do with who she is, but more with her level of uncomfortability in a situation. You know, this woman pays attention to her cues. You know, the Aquarian man, if the shoe is on the other foot, not so much. No, the Aquarian man is far more impersonal than the Aquarian woman. The Aquarian woman just appears to be more detached and more impersonal, but she's not. She's actually far more plugged in than you might think. The Aquarian man is the one that's actually in real time as detached and as disconnected as they come. But again, not because of lack of awareness, but because of choice. When he gets to a point where he opens up and wants to give his heart to a woman, he knows what to do. He knows what to do. You think Pisces has game? Not like Aquarius. The thing is that Aquarius is far more polished in his game than Pisces. But then again, it also depends. Because you got some Pisces that are diabolical geniuses in covering up shit and being detailed and being careful with their dirt or their cover ups. Remember, the opposite polarity is Virgo when dealing with Pisces. So, kind of like with Aquarius, you know, it's still in the early stages and in the early phases. It takes Aquarius time to get to that level where, like Pisces, he or she can become quite adept and quite knowledgeable about the other partner. The Aquarian person, is usually not very aware of the impact that he's causing to those around him. You know, if it's a woman, she will be completely unaware of how she's impacting her environment, how she's impacting those closest to her. She's truly about her own agenda. You know, the men for her have to follow suit. If they don't follow suit, then she dismisses them or throws them away. You see, the Aquarian woman wants a relationship, but she wants it on her own terms. And that could be a problem, you know, because the Aquarian woman is not really too keen in being emotionally open. The Sagittarian man will sense this in the Aquarian woman, and he will understand her and sort of respect her stance in her emotional aloofness. The only problem with the Sagittarian man dealing with the Aquarian woman is that her sense of detachment and cold indifference is something that he will tolerate outside of the bedroom because, like Miss Aquarius, Mr. Sagittarius is just as interested and just as concerned as keeping certain appearances as the Aquarian woman is. Both the Aquarian man is looking for bliss sexually. The Aquarian woman wants that bliss, but in a controlled environment that she can control. And that is not going to go well with the Sagittarian man. Mutable fire, listen, fire is fire, and air is air. There could be a sense of incompatibility. Oh, the Aquarian woman can handle the horse hung sexual animal like energy of Sagittarian sex. Oh, she can handle it. She can simulate the emotions too. Not really go through the emotions, but actually simulate them. She'll get out of it what she wants, but not throw herself in that type of emotional bliss that the Sagittarian man or woman will require in a sexual situation. The Aquarian woman enjoys the sexual intimacy and reaction to the sexual response through her mind. And through her mind, it processes through her body. And that's how she's able to have orgasms and enjoy a man sexually. It has to be filtered through the mind first before her body can respond. So, and if she can, and for her, the ingredient has to be the mind and body connection. And if the men don't have that mind and body connection, they're not going to be able to um, hit that spot that can make the Aquarian woman bloom as the stars in the heavens light up the night sky. But understand that that requires a certain degree of surrender. And here we have it. Here we have the problem, especially dealing with the Aquarian woman, where when it comes to emotional ecstasy and emotional bliss, there are fears and uncomfortableness in this area with the Aquarian woman. And and the Sagittarian man, he don't got time for that. He don't got time for that. No. So if there's going to be any kind of a difficulty with this combination, it's gonna come in the bedroom department. Because the Aquarian woman, and it depends too. If they're young, if they're old, if they're above or past prime, it has to be more than just the sex with the Aquarian woman. But the Sagittarian man wants to enjoy that beauty that is the Aquarian woman. Because she might not feel that she is, but she is. Mentally, it's a different story. And we're done with part one.